do spice, the sexy, sassy, smart Shawnee Smith.
Man, I recognize my name, but I was like, who is she talking about? Hey guys, how y'all doing? Last day of last Thursday of the quarter, last Thursday of the month. Wait, what?
Yeah, this year is rolling down a locomotive track that is going way too fast for me, and the days seem to be ganging up on me.
Yes.
Like real quick.
Yeah,
Like they're
absolutely.
coming and they're coming and they're coming. So time is not waiting for us, right?
No.
So we've got a plethora of things going on in the BHS and Associates organization. And I want to just briefly tell you some of those things. First, tonight, we want you to know that you're needed, know that you're wanted, know that you're heard in the mastermind. Warrior Within Mastermind is tonight at 7 p.m. And why would you come? Well, we talk constantly. We communicate, or at least we hope so.
All day.
Every day. But are we being heard? Are the people we're speaking to listening to us? And more importantly, are we listening to them? We're going to give you some tips and tools and skills and techniques to let you know, to prescribe to you some things that you could be doing differently to make more impact, influence, and income. Yes, so tonight, 7 p.m. Then what's next, Shawnee?
Before we move on to that, I just want to say you have no excuse to be here because guess what? It's complimentary and virtual. Yes, it's free and virtual. Log on, get there.
Good point. Here's the link. It's right down here, scrolling across. Thank you to our illustrious program manager. That would be Mark Lee. Thank you so much, Mark, for having that. Tonight it is. Join us at Bit.ly. It's a Bit.ly link. Warrior Mastermind, capital W, capital M. Check it out. It's an hour. We're not going to spend much of your time. We're not going to take much of your time, but we want you to be able to communicate clearly, effectively, and
make it
have
work.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in the 757, April the 2nd, you can come and join the illustrious Barbara H. Smith. I'm going to say Dr. Barbara H. Smith. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Celebrity speaker trainer. Where are you going to be April 2nd?
I'm going to be at SBSD in Virginia Beach at the Hive. SBSD, Small Business Supplier Development. I get that mixed up with SBDC, but Small Business Supplier Development. It is also free, FREE, but you have to sign up. So just search SBSD if you're in the 757. Drop by. It's for business owners and those who are aspiring business owners. And we're going to talk about how to represent your brand using the Warrior Within technology and techniques. So yeah, come out to that. That's going to be super fun. We do an interactive, engaging love seat instead of hot seat to get you clear on what you are selling, your product, service, and goods. So that's super cool and fun. So yeah, April 2nd. And what else on April 2nd? We're releasing a book. No. We're releasing our 4th book.
Are we releasing it or we're unleashing it?
We're unleashing it and releasing it on April the 2nd. Unless the publisher tells me that we are behind schedule. I hope not. But it is April the 2nd coming up real quick. I mean, April is like knocking on our door. I had to look over at my calendar. We are 3 days out from April. And the next quarter starting. So have you completed your goals for this quarter? That's another thing. Anyway, April 2nd is Unleash the Warrior Within, so that you will achieve everything that your life is deserving of. All the things. It's the impact, it's the influence, it's the income. And how do you uncover those gems? I'm excavating in this book, and it's a workbook as well. So check that out. April 2nd, it's coming out. Then
April the 11th.
The
workshop kicks off. And that's when we're really going to do, you're going to be handheld doing the digging work. You're going to have some work to do too. But we're going to really dig out of all the things that we have dumped on because life has been lifing. Yeah. And we have a hard time remembering what we're doing here. what we're on assignment for. And because we don't know that, we can't communicate because we don't even know. How are you going to convince somebody else when you don't know? That kicks off on April the 11th at 7 p.m. It's a 4-week course. 1 hour a week. There is some self work that one needs to do, but you also get a workbook and other. The value of this, we're not even playing. And you can get that information by going to the bit.ly link, bit.ly/unleash the bit.ly/unleash the warrior within. You need that. We need this.
Yes.
And then you got April the 20th. Your schedule's so full, I can't even go there because I'm too excited about the fact that although we do our superhero spotlight, and I love it, we got the superhero right here with
right
us
here today. Yep, April 20 is Selfies to Service with Dr. Obioma Martin, and we'll be telling you more about the things that are coming up. Subscribe to the newsletter, support@barbarahsmith.com, and get your name out there to get all of the tips and techniques, all of the happenings of BHS and Associates, and stay abreast of what's going on. We got some powerful giveaways coming up too as well. So without further ado, I got to take a breath for this one because she is a phenomenal human being. She has championed education from kindergarten all through college. She followed in her parents' footsteps, who were both educators, and she believes that learning is a reciprocal process that creates a natural interaction of exchange of ideas, visions, creativity, and produces the opportunity for the teacher and the learner to extend personal boundaries, create new constructs, and experience vulnerability and the strength of the human spirit. She holds a bachelor's in social work. She earned a master's in urban education, and her doctorate is at Regent University as an educational psychology major with a concentration on research. She loved to research some stuff. I can tell you that for the fact. She is qualified through the Commonwealth of Virginia as a mental health provider, and her specialization is children. She uses the modalities of individual, group, and family therapy. This lady here is the assistant program director of the doctorate in counseling at Regent University. She teaches a plethora of courses, including women, minorities, and criminal justice. She partners with the community for the intersection approach. And she's recently published a journal article in 2021 about the pandemic, addressing the impact of COVID-19 on vulnerable students. Additionally, she has more than 25 years of experience in the field of mental health. Her accolades are too many to list, including being a Commonwealth of Virginia qualified mental health provider. She's also served as just the one and only giraffe in the continent of Africa. We love her. We love her. We love her. She has been a therapeutic foster parent in the city of Hampton. She is also on the board of directors for Natasha House, and she serves as the City of Hampton Citizens Unity Commission. Help me bring to the show the one, the only ambassador, the doctor. What her name is? Michelle.
The good doctor.
Michelle Boone Thornton. Come on up, Michelle Boone Thornton.
Hello, everybody. You know what? I can just put this on rewind, and when I get up in the morning, play it, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready to go.
Okay, because you have finished assignment after assignment after assignment. Your whole life is about service.
Yes. It is. And I want to just jump right in and ask the top thought you have for people out there who are considering going into the field of mental health. How needed is it, and what's the top thought you would give them, the top advice you would give them?
It is needed. Number one, it is needed, and people going into that field, you just have to be able to tap into your own authentic self before you can really start helping someone else, because life tries to get us in a box, and we know we need to live outside of those four corners of that box to actually experience what it is that God has for us. So if you're going to be doing mental health or any kind of other work with other people, you first have to connect with your inner peace and your inner self. But it's much needed. It's much needed.
Well, it's much needed, Dr. Boone Thornton. And pardon me, I call her Dr. BT. That's my love language for her. So y'all gonna have to get used to that. Get on board. It's much needed, but it wasn't until recently that it was even accepted that people need help with their mental health. You know, you used to say back in the day when somebody would say, grandmama needs some help, they say, oh, she's just crazy. No.
Or she need to go sit down somewhere. She need to go lay down. She need to pray about it. She need to go to church. She need to go talk to pastor. But it was never acknowledged, for what it is, particularly in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think COVID-19 kind of pulled the bandage off with the scab and everything else of that, because we were in a pandemic. We were mandated to isolate, to stay at home. And so we had all of this time to deal with all of the pain and the drama and the hurt that we buried for years. And then on top of that, there was death all around us and destruction and loss. And so our psyche couldn't take it no more. And it was to the point where somebody needed to help me before I commit suicide.
Right.
And as a Black community, especially Black men between the ages of 18 and 24, suicide is just astronomical and continuing to climb. And so we got to do something. So it's time to talk about it. It's time to seek help. It's time to do the work. I heard you talking about self-work, and that's like one of my workbooks, is so that you can do the work. We've got to start somewhere, and that's how I'm addressing it.
Yeah. Can I ask you though, when somebody starts to do the self-work and they uncover something that they hid and don't even realize how painful it was, and then either it freezes them or it takes them somewhere else, what do you recommend for that when they uncover something that just hurt? It's just too dramatic.
And that happens so often. With the workbook, I created a journal because I encourage people to journal the entire time. One thing about journaling is that comes from your heart. You don't have to worry about anybody else seeing it, anybody else making any comments, teasing you or whatever. That's your story. Throughout everything that I publish, I have in the index resources, because I know this can be hurtful. Yeah. And, if you're getting to the point where you uncover something and it's just impacting your overall ability to function in relationships, it's time for some help. And so I give you resources, national, local, even online resources where you can reach out and talk to a professional.
That's so important too, Dr. BT. You said something at the very end about talking to a professional. It has been so poo-pooed in our community. The other communities embrace having someone to talk to outside of their own community, outside of their own family. And it's still a stigma in our community that there's nothing wrong with you. Pray about it. Yeah, prayer is definitely needed and does wonders. It does. However, there is a whole team of professionals across the world that God has given talent and skill to uncover, unleash, unravel the tangles. The tangles that have snared our lives. For so long, I struggled with being a victim mentality of being a rape victim, a domestic abuse victim, all these things. And I was ashamed and embarrassed to let people know, yeah, I always got the smile on my face. Yes, and inside I'm toe up from the floor up.
Yes.
And so many of us are walking around, which is my glam claim to fame. I lost the word for a second, which is my claim to fame of being able to unleash and excavate some of the gifts because they've been buried so long, because of the trauma, because of the hurt, because of the ache. And women and children are my heartstring pulls, much like yours, Dr. BT. So tell us how do you start to heal from the inside when you don't even know you hurt it?
That's the good piece. You have to uncover that because you've hidden it for so long. Some people have hidden it, something that happened to them in childhood. They've hidden it. And underneath that is other traumas and neglect and abuse. So what I do with my workbook and my workshops and everything is help people start to unmask and to uncover. Like you said, you wear all of this underneath that beautiful smile and that beautiful face, and nobody would even know about it unless you shared it. As a people, we have always been encouraged to not tell anybody your business. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Right. Because, we were always afraid of, the CPSs or the APSs or somebody coming taking our children or maybe even when it comes to mental health issues, being stuck in an asylum and they running these exams and treatments on us that they don't run on anybody else.
But pause right there, Dr. B. Pause right there for me. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you said something really poignant right there. The reason, one of the many reasons that we don't expose the hurt and damage that we've experienced is because of history. History has told us that if we expose this, we're gonna get locked up and somebody's gonna do some experiments. And it's not false.
Oh no.
It's not false.
It's absolutely true.
Right.
At that particular time, it was true. We were the ones that did the shock treatments and all of that. They were done on us. It's a lot of things you can look back in history, sterilization, all kinds of things that were done to us, and so syphilis, just it goes on and on and on. So as a people, we're afraid to say what's going on because we don't know if what we're going to receive is going to be different than other folks because history has shown that it has been. I remember during COVID, I am part of the Peninsula Medical Reserve, and we were going in setting up places where they were doing vaccines. Right. And I was doing the little stickers on the cards. Now, don't think I was giving people shots. That is not meant.
I wasn't doing the hard part.
I was just putting a sticker on your card and signing it and going on. And so I can remember a Black pastor and his wife coming saying, we're doing this for our church. We want our church members to see that this is okay. They actually had some folks filming them. And so as we started to talk, I said, why do you feel like this is important? He said, because my parishioners actually believe that they're doing 2 vaccines.
Ooh.
One is for Black people and one are for other people.
Ooh.
And when I heard it, I understood it, but it hit me to my core to think that I'm Black. You actually think that I would let this happen? But we are so afraid. He had older members in his church and they had to actually record him taking it in the First Lady to prove to the other members that it was okay.
Because you don't know in that syringe. You don't know.
No.
And let me tell you my experience with that. I was going to Africa for the first time and we had to have COVID vaccines because they were not letting us in their country without them, right? I was totally against any kind of vaccination. Now I'm fully vaccinated from a child. I didn't have no control over that. My mom and them did that. My mom and them. But when I became an adult, first of all, I have a fear of hypodermic needles. I don't like them in any way, shape, or form. You got to put it in my mouth. You got to put it in the behind. You got to put it in my arm. We ain't doing none of that. As a matter of fact, when you get blood, I let them know, you get one chance at this. You better get the best of the best in here with a butterfly needle because my veins roll, or you're not getting it. And I had an opportunity to demonstrate that I'm not playing. She went in. She didn't get it. I said, okay, we done. She goes, no, I didn't get it. That's your luck. That's just your luck. I already told you. Anyway, so I go to get this vaccine and I did it late. And so you're supposed to get the first shot and then the second shot a couple weeks later. I didn't have no time for that. So I had to get the one that they were saying was causing people paralysis and all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, you really want to go to Africa bad? They gave me this needle. And when she put the needle in I didn't look, but when she put the needle in my arm and pressed the syringe, I could tell she was pressing it because my arm heated up. And I thought, I'm going to die. I'm just going to die right here. I'm just going to die. But it was at that moment, the moral of the story is, it was at that moment that I thought to myself, you don't know what they got in there. Why is that burning?
Right. And it's too late to find out afterwards.
Right. But the positive upside to that is I only had to take one shot. So, with me being hypodermic sensitive, this was it. And so now they're talking about all these boosters. That ain't gonna happen, Captain. Not over here. As long as y'all good, I'm good. That's why I've been eating right and exercising. Anyway. Yeah. So I get what your pastor was going through. For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that is why some of us have the fear that we have. Mm-hmm. It's instilled and it's been proven we should be afraid. Okay? And so, to try to change people's minds now,
So I ain't doing that.
I mean, off subject really quick. I'm experiencing that right now with a family member, 2-year-old, acting a little out of sorts. Take her to the doctors, and they said, well, she's probably dehydrated. So give her some Gatorade, and they prescribed her antibiotic. They kept pressing and pressing. A week later, she had a brain tumor. Like, your child. You say something is not right, and you're like, well, nope, there's no fever. You're good to go. And I personally, same thing. I had a surgery, and I'm like, right here on this side is not quite right. And that's part of healing. I'm like, I get that, but not this part. This part isn't right, right. And then they take off the surgical tape and I got it 2 inches open gash, know, and they're like, well, what were you doing? I said, backflips. I told you that something wasn't right,
Right.
Part of healing, but I know, I'm not, because I don't really take pain meds because I want to know. I want to know what the worst feels like so that I know, if I'm getting better. But it's a
and we've really got to advocate for ourselves across the board, medical, mental health, everything. We got to advocate for ourselves.
You took the words out of my mouth. We got to advocate for ourselves.
Listening to you speak at the very first Sisters Inspire Sisters to Advance retreat, when you talked about the story of on your way to church, and then fix your face. That's all I think about. Fix your face. Because I don't know how many times I've heard it, to me, to whoever. And I am guilty of even saying it to my daughter, like, fix your face. And so I'm already starting to teach her to mask. And
that's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying put your mask on because we're going out in public and I want you to look happy, whether you're happy or not. And so you're modeling that to her. And so as she becomes an adult, she knows she has to put her mask on and look happy, whether she's happy or not.
Right. Oh, you know what? You reminded me of something when you just said that, Dr. BT. We were in Africa. We were at Rockamama's restaurant. And you said, I feel so free. I almost heard it in their language. I'm feeling so free. You said, I feel so free.
And I might have said it like that too.
And I said, what do you mean? She says, this is the first time that I can remember really being myself. What did that mean? What did that feel like? What did you mean when you said that?
When I said that, and it was weird, you know, how you just have to be in the moment and really intentional about everything. And as I walked through the airport, even as I got off the plane and got into transportation, I didn't have to act like anybody, right? I didn't have to show up as Dr. Boone Thornton. I didn't have to show up, you know, and put that mask on. I didn't have to show up as this professional Black
But why
woman.
not? But why not?
Because there was nobody there trying to put me in a box. Nobody there who I felt like I had to impress. I could just show what God made, just authentic, be myself. I didn't have to worry about my words. I didn't have to worry about offending certain people by saying or not saying or saying too much. I could just open my mouth and say what I wanted to say, and Barbara can attest to it. I
did. And you did. And that segues into the next conversation. Dr. BT is definitely a superhero, okay?
All day.
Her superheroism is her stature, first of all. She's tall, and it was sensed as a handicap for a while for her. Talk some about your height challenge, if you will, and how it became your superpower while we were in Africa.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, growing up, you know, in the 4th grade, I was 5'11". I was taller than the teacher. I was taller than the men, the women, everybody. And so, you know, you feel so self-conscious because in the 4th grade, you're still a child, really. So I would always hunch over so that I could fit in and be around the same height as everybody else. I was afraid to stand out. You know, I thought, I'm going to look silly. Everywhere I went, you know, if you took pictures in school, I just went on to the back because I knew I had to be in the back because of my height. And I thought it was a handicap, right? Mm-hmm. But when I got to Africa, okay, we started talking about the animals. And I think it was Dr. West that told me that I reminded him of a giraffe. You see my giraffe? My giraffe stays with me. That's my superpower serum, okay? And so I said, a giraffe. And the first thing I thought, oh, this giraffe is tall and I'm tall. And he's like, no. First of all, they're very graceful. He says, they rule the jungle. Everybody think the lion, but it's the giraffe because the giraffe is the leader. It has vision. It can see danger all around. So the other animals follow it, right? How do you stay safe? With this leader, with the vision. And so after that, and I started hearing that, I was like, let me stand up because I am this leader with this vision. And, you know, I started talking, my girls are just as tall as I am. And my son, you know, he's just, whatever. But, you know, and so, you know, when I started teaching this, and even with the children I work with, I teach this to them. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It's what you believe and what you know is inside.
That's right. And that is so cool. And she has been walking proud and tall ever since. Not like she wasn't before, but she got an extra 4-5 inches when she went to Africa.
I sure did.
Well, I need some of it because I'm 5'2". Let me get an inch or two.
I'm gonna send you my little superpower serum.
She got that little one sitting there, but tell her what else you got when it comes to giraffes.
They're all over. They really are. My husband threatened, like, if I wake up and see a giraffe looking back at me, it's going to be a problem. They're in my office at home. They're in my office at work now. I just do. And, you know, I have really just embraced that. And even the students that I work with and the children and the women that I work with, I want to give them something to embrace like that so that you can look at every day and it's reminding you of who you are and what's in you, because we lose what's in us. We let all this other stuff be piled on us, and we lose our true selves. I always work with people. One of the things we do in my business and what I do for my platform is I help people reset. They be like, how do I reset? So I'm trying to help you get back to the manufacturer's original specs.
Come on.
God is the manufacturer.
That's it.
And the original effects is everything that he poured in you, the truth, the life, the gifts, the potential, the skills. We lose that because we let everything else pile on top of it, the hurt, the pain, everything we experience.
Yes.
And so my goal is to help you get back to your original specs so you can live authentically and be all that he created you to be.
That's right. That's right. Do we take a commercial break or we keep rolling? I don't know. Anyway, I love this conversation. I am so excited that you're here, Dr. BT. We have more stuff to talk about. I hope Mark does actually have some statements that I want to read back here. He's talking about, think about all those fake people that incorporate corporate America and act in certain ways among their non-minority peers. It's called
code switching.
Code switching. That's the word I was looking for. Code switching. Some people don't even know what that is. It's masking.
Oh, all you got to do is get my book. I'll talk about it. Code switching. That's a form of masking.
It is. It is. And we do it so fluidly.
Seamlessly.
We are so used to it. Seamlessly. That's a good word too.
Yeah. We don't even know how to turn it off. My mom used to say when I would get home, I guess I don't know how old I was. I was in my 20s. I get home and she say, okay, now you can stop. You're not with your Becky friends anymore. And I'm like, oh, right. You know, you can stop now.
You know, my most famous code switching is when I get to New York and hang out with my son and my buddies from New York. Because I go right back to speaking like I'm from New York. You know what I'm talking about? Like when I have coffee and stuff. Yes. That's a form of code switching, but it doesn't, I don't even hear it until I get there. You know what I mean? And so my sister and I do this whole shtick, if you will, about being Yiddish mothers. And she and I could go on for hours and do that, and people just crack up laughing. But it's code switching. It's changing yourself to fit in to the environment you are. And I remember a story about the carrot, the coffee bean, and the egg. The carrot, the coffee bean, and the egg. And the moral of the story is the carrot, the coffee bean, and the egg, when you put them in boiling water, 2 of the 3 of them changes to suit the environment, but not the coffee bean.
That's right. The
coffee bean changes the environment. It changes the water when you put it in hot water. And that's what we have to be. And that's what I teach. Ooh. That's what I teach in Speak, Coach, Train. That's what I teach in Unleash the Warrior Within book. And that's what I'm teaching tonight at 7 p.m. How do you stand in your truth? How do you stand in your authentic self and make sure?
That's gonna be it. I'm sorry that I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm about to go get a coffee bean, and that's what I'm gonna put everywhere.
Okay,
that's gonna be my reminder.
She's gonna have coffee beans. I've got the giraffes. You know, just keep on going.
Mine is the zebra.
Oh, we know.
Oh yeah, some of them know the story. Really, really quickly. Story in Africa again is we went on safari, and I learned that the most intriguing thing for me was that the African elephant is different than any other elephant in the world, because the African elephant's ears is in the shape of Africa, the continent. I thought that was like super cool. So we come back to campground and we go around, and Dominique Obadiah, shout out to Civility World Tours, has these little trinkets of animals that we saw on safari, the big 5, all of them. And I reached in the bag. The subject was reach in the bag, talk about what you did, and pull out one of your trinkets. So I just, I'm big, bad, and bold. I'm going to pull out the elephant. I put my hand in there, pull it out. It's a zebra. So I'm like, I'm cool. I'll take the zebra. 7 people behind me pull out an elephant. I'm walking back. Now I'm disgusted and discouraged and kind of pissed off. And Dr. West is rolling on the ground laughing at everybody pulling out these elephants. And I'm not thinking it's funny. So people started feeling bad for me, want to give me their elephants. I didn't take it. Marissa Thornton was the one who put me in check. We're walking back to our tent. And Marissa says, you know, Miss Barbara, the odds that, now she's going to go statistics like her mama. The odds that you should have got an elephant was 1 in 7. And you didn't pull an elephant. So it wasn't meant for you to have an elephant. It was meant for you to have a zebra. I got to thinking about that thing, set the zebra on the daggone nightstand, Dr. BT, and looked at that sucker and said, what am I supposed to get from you? The long story short is I understand now that I was supposed to get the zebra, one of the smartest in the animal kingdom. 2 by 2, they eat. One watches while the other one eats, and they take turns. It's not a black and white striped animal. It's not a white and black striped animal. It's both. And so I learned how smart that was and then embraced. So I got my, like you, Dr. BT, maybe not as many, but I got my zebras everywhere. So the zebra is my thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just amazing.
You know, it is just important to have something to connect to. And Africa gave me that, something to connect to. You know, you don't really realize what you're missing until you get it. You know, you kind of wake up and go like, I really needed that. I tell a lot of the students that I work with, you know, they have behavioral mental health disorders and everything. But one thing I let them know is broken crayons still color.
Oh, drop the mic on that one.
They absolutely color. In fact, they color better. You don't have to worry about breaking them, right? So just because people, you know, say something is wrong or you don't fit in the same category as everybody else,
not meant to.
That makes you better. Just like you said, you weren't supposed to be an elephant. You were supposed to be a zebra. But in life, we try so hard to be elephants, right? When we're supposed to be zebras or giraffes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's really important, and I think about Barbara being my coach, is she helped me understand and identify where I was supposed to be, right? Because a lot of times we don't. We know we have potential. We know we're supposed to do something, but we need somebody to see in us and help pull that out. Help pull that out. So I think the story about the elephant, the zebra, and whatever you want to be, Shani, is important for people to know, you know, and it grounds you. You don't really realize what you need until, again, you don't have it and then you get it. And then it's like, where was this all my life?
It was amazing to me that you reached out for a coach. Because your inherent gifting, your superpower, Dr. BT, is teaching. You have the ability to take complex subjects and content matter and break it down to the lowest common denominator, understanding the person who's standing in front of you to give them what they need to get from the information. That's your superpower all day, every day.
And thing that I'm doing.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Because you can't see the whole picture when you're part of the frame, right? Yeah. You need somebody. Success leaves clues. Why am I going to like rack my brain trying to figure out how to do something you already did? I know Dr. BT knows. I'm going to ask her. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to get it. So 5 years later, I'm still trying to figure out how she did that. I'm wasting time here.
Absolutely. And you know, you put a good point there, you know. And as Black women, sometimes we don't want to ask.
Wait, pause. Whoop. Slow pump your brakes right there. Slow pump your brakes. Slow pump. Say that again for the people in the back.
Okay. As Black women, it's really 2 things. We don't want to ask and we don't want to invest in ourselves. I don't know what it is. We'll get the red bottom shoes and the nail and the hell and everything. But when it comes to paying some money into helping us become everything that God has put in us, we don't want to do that.
Because the investment is not a mask. You know, if I have the hair and I have the shoes, I look like I look good, so I must feel good.
Say that, Shani.
I said that.
Right. You are pretending.
Feel good.
Right. But to get to everything that you have within you. And I mean, our God did not short us in any kind of way. He gave it all to us.
He did.
And so what you have to do is get you a coach to help you bring it out and help you develop it. And so we got to make an investment, and we got to ask for help. Stop trying to do stuff on your own. It's frustrating and it's tiring, and I'm too old for that. I'm going to ask everybody I know.
Okay.
Well, Dr. BT, the other thing you didn't mention is that you were coachable.
Absolutely. But you have to get to that point.
With all
you have to get to that point.
With all of your education, with all of your everything that God has put in you, you still recognize that somebody can help you get to some place. And you were coachable. There wasn't an assignment I gave you. There wasn't a task I gave you. One day I remember you saying, you know what, Ms. Barber, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff you want me to do. And you pouted for but a millisecond. And you said, okay, next time we come together, I'm going to have it. Next time we came together, you ain't have it. But did you make excuses? No, you did not. You said, Coach, I did not do the assignment. I'm going to take my licks now. There was no licks. It was just, okay. Yeah. It's your journey.
Right. That's the piece. It's your journey. The investment you're making is in you. And you have to be open to lifelong learning. It's not like I know everything there is to know and I don't know anything else. That's not the way life works.
Right.
You know, that's not the way technology works. Everything is always changing. And so when you get into that mindset that everything is changing, you got to keep up.
You got to keep up.
You know, you just can't keep running the same lines that you ran in the 80s and the 90s and whatever and think you're going to keep up with what's going on today. Okay.
You'll be a operator, huh?
Right. You know, I work with children all the time and they'll tell me quick, we don't say that anymore. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me quit. It's always a learning process. And when you're open to learning, you will always grow.
Right. I like to look at procrastination as arrogance too, that you're arrogant enough to think that you're going to have more time when you don't know that you do. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. So I'm going to see.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done.
Absolutely.
Oh, to think that you got more time to do it is arrogance. I don't think I ever looked at it like that, Shani.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah,
that's a powerful statement.
God owes you some more time to get it done when you get ready.
When I get ready, after my show go off, I'm gonna do it.
Right. and I was telling somebody, I said, you know, the richest place in the world is the graveyard because that's where all the dreams and hopes and things that you said you was gonna do are buried.
Somebody disagreed with me when I said that. I said, no, sir. No, sir. That is totally where all of the treasure is.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And one of the biggest regrets of people who are on their deathbeds,
absolutely,
is that they didn't go for it.
Mm-hmm. Is that they didn't go for it.
When I'm done, like there better not be no reincarnation for real, because they ain't gonna be able to use this body at all. It's gonna be all spent.
I done used it all up. It ain't no more left.
It's nothing left. You can't dust it off. You can't prop it up.
You can't grease it up. Nothing.
Nothing with this here. Because when I'm done, when God says that's it, you're done. Come on up. There's nothing else going to be left. I'm leaving it all on the table. I'm leaving it all on the floor. I'm leaving it all on the carpet, because as I grow and learn, and that's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen out there listening. We have to, Dr. BT said it already, we have to be lifelong learners, continually sharpening our tools and our crafts. And if you think you know it all, baby, boo-boo, sorry, wrong answer. Because there's always something to know. There's always something to learn. And that's one of my greatest loves, is to learn new things so that I can help somebody else come up higher. I have never been one that wanted to hold information or hoard information, ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the director of operations at BHS and Associates tells me this constantly. Why are you always giving it all away? Because if
that's what you're supposed to do with it.
That's everything I have. If I could touch you
Absolutely.
by osmosis and give it to you, I would.
And that's what I tell people, especially when it comes to growth, because gardening is my thing. You know, I don't care how big and luscious and beautiful the plant is. If you stop watering it, if there's no sunlight and there's nothing fertilizing it, it's gonna die. It can't continue to grow without that investment of time and energy and light and water. And you have to think of yourself that way. You have to continue to invest in yourself for you to grow.
That's good.
And get your superpowers.
Okay.
The superhero. I want to talk for a brief second about the upcoming, it's in the future, the upcoming Sisters Inspired Sisters to Advance retreat. Dr. BT, you have been there, you have done that. What to you was your greatest takeaway from coming? It's coming October 24, 25, 26. 2024, it's going to be bigger and better than it's ever been. I promise you, if you are somebody who needs this respite, if you're looking to grow exponentially, if you're looking for techniques, strategies, and tips to take your life and your business to another level, you can't miss this one. But Dr. BT, you've been there, you've done that. What was your greatest takeaway? What was your sentiment?
There were so many things, but the opportunity to network. I mean, with people who are either where you want to be, have gone through what you're going through. I mean, it was just phenomenal, the networking and being with like-minded women. And, you know, sometimes you feel like you're on the island, like this is just happening to me, Lord, why? But when you see these other women who are striving and learn what to do and how to do it, I mean, it was life-changing. And some of the relationships and people that I've met, I still deal with today. I mean, I call them up, they call me up. You have to build your cohort. Like I tell my people going through the dissertation and the doctorate program, who's in your cohort? You need people praying for you. Oh yeah, because the bigger your gift, the bigger the attack from the enemy. So you need people praying for you. Okay, get some folk in your cohort that are like-minded, right? Mm-hmm. And it gave me that opportunity. It was just a beautiful thing. And we just connected on so many levels. I've never done yoga before, but when I got out of there, you know, I realized that I thought the sun was moving, but she told me the earth was shifting. I was like, okay, now. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
What would you tell somebody who's on the fence about coming?
Get on up off that fence. It's life-changing. And, you know, a lot of people say a lot of things are life-changing, but when you understand the investment that you need to make in yourself for growth and for change, you can't beat it. You got to be there.
It was fun. What do you say, Shani?
I had the honor of being paired up with her at one of the workshops, and she was helping me take off one of my masks, and I was holding on to it though. I had one hand on it, like not quite ready to. Don't peel this one off. I like this one because I don't know what's under there, you know. But and maybe some tears. I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna talk about that part. But it for me. I felt like before I went, am I qualified to be in the room with PhDs and, you know, C-suite leaders? Ooh. And I was like, wait, you are, because you.
Why did you feel that? Why did you feel that?
Because of the stigma of not just the unknown, you know, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be catty? Or are they going to say things that I don't understand? Like, can I fit into the conversation?
Did that happen?
None of that happened. So, you know, debunk that. And then moving forward, that's never going to be a thing. But I also was able to be free.
Yeah.
Who knew? I thought I was going to have to put on my best mask, and I was able to be free.
Yeah. And then the thing about it is we have to realize that people in life gives us these titles. doctor,
Right.
lawyer, this, that, and the other. But God just calls us all his children.
That's it.
And that's who we really are. When you get down to that inner person, we're just his children, made in his image. We all got gifts and talents. Yeah. And we just had the opportunity to enjoy each other. You know, nobody was trying to, you know, come for, go for who she thinks she is. We were just one.
No. And we were brainstorming. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. The setting helped as well, you know, because it was.
Yes.
And I did act a good fool during the photo shoot. I'm just saying.
We might have to bring the photo shoot back. We don't know.
That photo shoot was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I'm still rocking those pictures to this day. In fact, I saw Raleigh yesterday. He's doing photos and videos for one of the organizations I'm with. And I held up that picture. I said, I told him, you're going to make him look like this. He was like, no, I'm not doing headshots.
You know what else was freeing? Was watching the transformations.
That's what
how it was transformative, not just from the outside, but we transformed the inside first. And then we took pictures of the transformed faces and actions of these women. And that to me was my greatest joy, knowing that God gifted me with something to uplift all of these ladies. And they walked away with something that they will treasure for the rest of their lives. To me, that was just the best. And I was exhausted beyond belief. Remember, after the
event. And it was exhausting too, because some of us were given from a place that we never even touched, right, because we were unmasked.
And it's one of those things like when you have surgery, how you have to heal from the removal of something. So this was a removal of all of that deep-seated trauma and drama and hate and unforgiveness. And afterwards, we had to, we had to recuperate. I had to recuperate so much that y'all was pinging that phone. I said, stop.
She said, nobody sends any more texts. I'm like,
Kick her out the group chat.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, we just kept going. We were still on cloud 9, floating and elevated and everything. And Barbara's like, I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired right now.
And I was so tired, I didn't even have the sense enough to just turn my phone off. It was good, though. I want to thank you, Dr. BT, for being our guest today. You have been a phenomenal guest. Mark has some notes for you, the producer, in the chat. Please do take a look at those in the private chat. Please hang out in the green room for us for a few minutes. I'd like to have a chat with you. Wall Street Hacker is coming up next. Be sure to hang out here on Pod TV, where Wall Street Hacker will be our next show. It has been a phenomenal interview. This has been delightful, uplifting, informative. Just like I promised you at the top of the show, we have phenomenal guests coming to this show, and today was definitely no different. Shawnee, what else you want to tell the people before I get out of here?
I really want to take a minute to let Dr. Michelle Boone Thornton say what she has coming up, because she's always doing something and giving something. If you're able to attend, get in there.
Well, I'm so very glad you asked. I am going to be serving as the guest host for the Be Lifted Up Sirius XM iHeartRadio Channel 141 show. The host is Alfred Edmonds Jr. of Black Enterprise, and we just talked with some phenomenal guests. Our guest last Sunday was Dr. Marcia Jordan Austin in mental health, and we have another mental health professional coming up this Sunday, March 31st, and then we have a pastor on April the 7th. So I'm excited about it. You're going to have to tune in. I can't tell you who it is, but you are going to have a phenomenal time. And you can also go to my website, and everything that I'm doing is listed there. And of course, you know, I'm going back to Africa in July.
All right.
That's drmichelleBooneThornton.com. Dr. Michelle Boone Thornton, about the 141 iHeartRadio station, is that all mental health conversation?
No. It's a gospel radio station, and we do interviews. And so interviewing this particular time, because mental health is so very important, we're getting specialists, experts in the area, just to share what they do, how they do it, and the importance of reaching out.
That's wonderful.
I love it.
Again, we are grateful. Thank you, Shani, for reminding me to let Dr. Boone Thornton have the last words. And again, reach out to Dr. Thornton. Dr. BT is at drmichelleBooneThornton.com. That's DRIMICHELLEBOONE Thornton.com.
Okay.
You know what time it is. She getting silly. You know what time it is. It's time for you to step into your greatness, because the world is looking for you and waiting for you. That's our show. We'll see you next week.